Oh my god, this is my first time using my ring light and it looks so good.
Lonely, you're the reason why I can feel those butterflies when I go to sleep at night.
Hi guys, it's Bella and welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing a college video. So today I kind of wanted to chat about the pros and cons of going to a small liberal arts college, and obviously through the lens of my own experience, which is a historical women's college. So I'm a rising sophomore at Mount Holyoke College in Massachusetts. So it's all going to be obviously based off my own experience. Everyone's kind of like pros and cons are going to be different depending on what you see as a benefit and all of that good stuff. Some of them are going to be historical women's college specific, but they are all going to basically apply to going to a small college. So I also just want to mention that I'm making this video because I actually really have been thinking about all the pros and cons of the school that I go to right now. And I just really wish that there was a video like this when I was kind of doing college applications and stuff. So I hope you guys find this helpful and make sure you're subscribed and everything so you can learn all of my updates about what's going on in my life with school and stuff. But yeah, enjoy. So if you like this video, please make sure to give it a like down below and subscribe. That would be amazing. And yeah, let's get into the video. So I'm going to start with the pros first, I think, and then do the cons. Historical Women's College specific is an empowering environment. I think that's one of the biggest pros of a historical women's college, and also of just any small liberal arts college, is that you're really going to be with like-minded people who care about what you care about, whether it be academics or whatever that may be. So I definitely do think that it provides kind of like an empowering environment, which is really awesome, and a pretty close-knit community. So the second pro, which is in my experience pretty Mount Holyoke specific, is just the inclusion and the diversity of students on campus. There is definitely a big culture of being very inclusive of everyone. Another pro, which I also put in the cons list because I really think it depends on your perspective, you will know everyone. So I'm a rising sophomore. I have actually had less than a year because the pandemic made us come home early, but I still feel like I know like a lot of people on campus. Obviously I'm not friends with everyone, but I will like recognize people. So I think if you're the kind of person who really wants to have that kind of community where you know everyone, that can be really nice. But I also put it in the cons section because personally I feel like after having like a year and kind of already having that feeling of already knowing like a lot of people on campus, it can kind of feel like many people, and it's just like it's kind of weird to know everyone. Another pro in my experience is financial aid. So smaller colleges are almost always more selective just because they don't have enough space for a lot of people, so they have to be selective in their admissions process. So in my personal experience, that has resulted in better financial aid packages for me personally, just because they accept less people and are more focused on really getting the people they accept to actually come to the college. Again, just what I've experienced, but definitely financial aid is a big factor when deciding where you want to go, so that is super important. Another pro, which also applies to almost all small colleges, is small class sizes. I really think this is a great thing to have in a school, and a lot of universities also have this, but I think it's much more prevalent at really small colleges to have just like smaller class sizes, like 15 people, 10 people, because you really get to interact with the professor more, and it can just like make a big difference in how you experience a class. I don't really like giant lectures, they kind of freak me out to be honest, but I really kind of thrive in like a 20-person class. Another pro, which is kind of generic, but I think definitely applies to a lot of small campuses and definitely to Mount Holyoke's, is that it's just like beautiful. A lot of smaller colleges are, you know, older and have like really beautiful historical buildings and architecture. A lot of them seem to have that vibe in terms of ones that I visited. And Mount Holyoke definitely has that kind of atmosphere too, of really pretty historical buildings. So So this one is definitely historical women's college specific, and just in my personal opinion, a big pro is just physical safety. Always feel safe on campus, and if that's something, campus, community, and general like homey feel, and also just feeling safe, it's just like kind of combined into the overall feeling of like safety on the campus. Okay, so now we're going to do some cons. So in my experience from the one college that I've gone to, which again is Mount Holyoke, there definitely is a lack of what a lot of people associate as the kind of like typical college experience. And when I say that, I just mean like football games and Greek life and like lots of parties and all that stuff. And whether you see that are a pro or as a con is really up to you. Some people really want that life and love that. Some people don't really like it. Personally, I see it as a con because I do think having all of those things would be really awesome. In my personal experience at Mount Holyoke, there's not a lot of school spirit. There's just not a lot of sports culture, which again, it might be a big pro for you, but me personally, I feel like it's not exactly what I imagine college to be like. The second con, and this applies to a lot of small colleges, is that there's a limited course selection. So there's going to be limited majors, minors, really limited everything just because of size. If you are interested in a major that's like super hands-on, I'm really interested in like media production and all of that stuff, so like really working with equipment and editing software. I really don't have access to that just because that's not a resource that the campus that I'm on really has. So that's definitely something to think about, is in terms of size, like do they actually have the resources that you want to use? The other con that I really feel about being in a small college in general is just that it can feel kind of constricting and just like small and a little bit claustrophobic depending on where you are. If your college is within a big city or it's in an urban setting, I'm sure this would be different, but Mount Holyoke is in the middle of nowhere, or at least that's what it feels like. There are other college towns in the area, but it takes like 45 minutes by bus to get there, and a lot of people don't have cars, so even though there are other places around, it can feel like you're kind of stuck. Another con, in my personal opinion, which honestly you can see as a pro or as a con, it really depends on your opinion, is this: obviously historical women's colleges are not co-ed. They are gender inclusive and inclusive of all identities, or at least that's kind of like the Mount Holyoke kind of way of looking at it, but again, they are not co-ed, which is a thing, and it's definitely something you should think about. The last con, which I think applies to a lot of small colleges, is that there's not really a lot of diversity in terms of like students like vibes, if that makes sense. I know that sounds really random, but since smaller schools obviously have less students, they're kind of just like bound to attract a lot of similar people, not necessarily in terms of like background or religion or anything, but just in terms of like their general vibe, like what they like to do and whatever. Like it's going to attract that certain community. So it kind of depends on if you feel like that small campus is the one for you. If you can visit, definitely do that, because that can be a huge indicator of the type of just like student that's there. And I feel like at a bigger university, there's going to be more overall different types of people, not just like in terms of demographics, but just in terms of like personality types and stuff. I don't know, I'm just kind of making this up, but that's how I felt about it. So I really hope that this was helpful in some way. Again, this is all based on my own experience, and some of the pros for you may be cons, some of the cons may be pros, but I hope that this was helpful and just gave you a different perspective. So yeah, if you guys like this video, don't forget to leave it a like down below and subscribe. That would be amazing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
When I go to sleep at night.